In the mid-2000s, one Detroit Lakes resident named Sally Houskin, along with many other volunteers and community supporters, decided to put a special piece of land in preserve in the city of Detroit Lakes. It will later become the largest city park that the city of Detroit Lakes has within its borders and manages and works with. And that is the Sucker Creek Preserve. 64 acres of pristine wilderness, virtually pristine wilderness, I should say, on the coast of Big Detroit Lake, nestled right next to Sucker Creek itself. Now, this 64-acre preserve has had a lot of work done to it. It's got a great little walking trail, it's got an amphitheater in it, and it's been used, I think, by a lot of people in the town and visitors as well. I myself like to get out there on occasion, or I like to run around there with my little four-legged puppy dog and enjoy our time out there, especially on wonderful weather and warm days like we've had so far this summer, and in the spring and fall when you see the leaves changing. Now, Sally raised $410,000 in private donations in order to get that park done. The city acted as a government entity, but not a single penny of taxpayer dollar was used to make this great park. Now, granted, I'm sure that plenty of tax money has been used to preserve it, but I think that's a heck of a bargain for that piece of land. Now there's the possibility of expanding that park, maybe even doubling it in size. Right now, Sally and some others are working on purchasing 46 acres of land right across the street from Sucker Creek. That means this could make this a 100-acre continuous preserve. Now, the reason they're citing this 46 acres, it's in a family trust right now, is that 10 to 15 different springs are actually there that feed Sucker Creek and in turn feed Detroit Lake. Sucker Creek is in a very, very unique location as well. It's actually pretty close to where I should say, the hardwood forest, the pine forest, and prairie meet. Here in Becker County, in fact, is the closest point in North America where all three different terrains come in closest proximity to each other. And Sucker Creek shows a little bit of everything. It also has some areas which have seen digs by archaeologists, which has unearthed different things that early man, well before even people like the Sioux and Ojibwe were here, used to camp and hunt and harvest and live where Sucker Creek is today. It served as a natural area just like any place where a river or creek pours into a larger body of water does now. Sucker Creek played that role back in ancient times. So I think there's a lot of positives that come out of this. But I also think this is a perfect example of something that is public infrastructure that was really brought to the forefront from the private sector. Private donations, private pushing, and private love for that piece of land turned it into the park it is. And now it could happen again and expand. And I would like to see it expand. I would love to have a 100-acre preserve here in Detroit Lakes. I don't know how many communities our size have 100-acre park within its city limits, but I'd be bound to bet you that Detroit Lakes would be one of the very, very few. I think there's a lot we could learn from it. And here's the kicker. The city of Detroit Lakes has agreed that they would act as the government agency. And once again, Sally Houskin looks like, if this is going to be a go, is going to fundraise money again, so this doesn't cost the taxpayers any money to get put in preserve and to get put into a great park. So if this goes through, and you're one that wants to preserve nature in the lakes area, this may be a cause that you want to look into joining.